episode 7, Fear Not, but Fear Itself. So, we've escaped from Midvale High, and Brainy and Dreamer, they're back. They have Kara's blood, and now they're ready to use their blood to locate her in the Phantom Zone. When they return, it's actually been 3 days, so they didn't go back in time and then return to the moment where they left. It actually took them 3 days to come back. And, you know, for Brainy, he was kind of just like, well, damn. He's like, I kind of suck at being a time traveler. But then, you know, they got the blood, so they're just like, all right, let's do what we got to do to find Kara. Now, in the 3 days that they've been gone, the rest of the team, they actually turned the tower into a spaceship. Or maybe it was always a spaceship and Jean just never said anything. Convenience. So the tower is now a spaceship. They conveniently said that Magan was patrolling National City to protect the population, aka the actress wasn't going to be in this episode. And the rest of the team, everybody, I'm talking about like Jean, you know, Kelly, Alex, Brainy, Dreamer, Lena, like everybody on the ship, and the whole team is gonna fly into the Phantom Zone to go rescue Kara. So now everybody's mostly excited. You know, Kelly's the only one that's kind of just like, yeah, because, you know, she's not a superhero, but she wants to go because, you know, she knows that Kara's Supergirl now. She wants to be there for Kara, and she wants to support Alex. Now, here's the part that got me. Here's the part that like literally got me. Jean specifically said, he said that when we go into the Phantom Zone, the Phantoms and the Phantom Zone itself, they're going to try to use fear energy to manipulate us. He said that they're going to make our worst fears come true. They're going to bring our worst fears to life, and we have to remember that none of it's real. And then Kelly even gave them some exercises. She said, like, there are certain things that you can do to remind yourself that it's not real and to separate reality from the illusion. They had a whole conversation where both Kelly and Jean literally told everybody, when we go into the Phantom Zone, if things start going haywire, it's not real. What's happening is not real. So of course, when they fly into the Phantom Zone and then everything starts going haywire, everybody started freaking out and the whole plan went to complete shit. You know, so they go in and you know, and even Jean said, he said that we only have 2 hours to do this. Jean basically said that he was going to be the one to go rescue Kara, and he wanted Alex to stay on the spaceship. Alex was like, no, Jean, that's my sister, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to stay behind. She needs me. And then the two of them went back and forth about it, and then there was some turbulence that's happening. He was like, yo, everybody strap in. So everybody straps in, and then this white light shows up that like blasts the ship. When the white light blasts the ship, this is the moment now where the fear starts taking place and everybody starts hallucinating. The first hallucination was Alex. Alex's biggest fear was, she argued with Jean again about being able to go out there to save Kara, and Jean was like, no. So now there's the fear that she's not able to save Kara. Then the Phantom that they had locked downstairs in the basement, he got free. So Jean and Alex, they went down there to go fight the Phantom. They fought the Phantom. They defeated the Phantom. They put the Phantom back in his cage. After the Phantom went back into his cage, Jean had noticed that Alex had a scratch on her neck, and he was just like, damn it, Alex, you know, you got yourself hurt, you know. And now he told her flat out, he was just like, yo, now that you've been bitten and you're going to eventually turn into a Phantom yourself, he's like, yo, we can't let you out there now because now you're going to jeopardize the whole mission. So he said the best thing to do is to put you in containment, and then after we save Supergirl, then we'll come back and we'll save you. But then Alex, she's just like, no, she's my sister, I have to do something. And then she spazzed out. She knocked out Jean and put Jean in the containment unit, and then she ran upstairs. While she's upstairs, you know, Brainy was just like, oh, the Phantoms are closing in on us. How are they able to detect us? And then he noticed that Alex had the scratch on her neck, and he's like, oh, Alex, you've been infected and you've doomed us all. And then Kelly comes over, and then she's just like, oh, Alex, you know, what have you done? And then Alex starts freaking out because she's just like, oh, I'm the problem. I was so desperate to save Kara, I ended up dooming us all. So then Alex puts herself into the escape hatch, and she was about to hit the button to catapult herself out into the Phantom Zone, and then Kelly started freaking out. The next person who ended up having a fear story was Lena. And God bless Lena, because Lena was the only person who remembered that this shit wasn't real. You know, it starts with Lena having a conversation with Dreamer where she was talking about how much, you know, like she missed her mom, and, you know, she always keeps her mom with her. And then, you know, her mom used to tell her stories, and she had an old storybook of her mother. They had this nice warm conversation regarding both of their moms. Then when the ship starts, so then like something happens, like the ship starts, going through turbs, and Lena's like, oh, I'll go check on it downstairs. She goes downstairs, and then she sees like water all over the place. She goes back upstairs, and then she sees that everyone's dead because they drowned, because there's some water creature that's on the ship that's filling everybody's lungs full of water and killing them. And she, and then she realized, she was like, oh, that's the same demon from my dreams that my mother used to read, but only this time, it's killing everybody except me, and there's nothing I can do about it, to save my mother and to save my... So she starts spazzing, and then, Dreamer was the only person who wasn't dead yet, and then she woke up Dreamer, and then her and Dreamer ran downstairs, and then Dreamer told her, she was just like, well, the thing from your mother's story, it's actually real, like, it's like right here in front of us. She said, did the book say anything about how to defeat it? And then, the water monster got Dreamer, and then Dreamer died. And then Lena realized, she was like, no, it doesn't say how to defeat it because it's not real. It is a mythical thing. And then she started doing like the techniques that Kelly showed them. Like she's like remembering like, oh, Martian steel and, like oxygen and the spaceship and her friends. And then the monster kind of got close. It was like all up in her face, like Predator style. But then Lena was like half and half. She was freaking out because of what she saw, but at the same time, she knew it wasn't real, so she was trying to fight it. And that was good, I said, because she was the only person who actually who didn't spaz. Then came Kelly. Kelly's whole thing was she was talking to Brainy, and she was telling Brainy that, like she doesn't feel important because the episode where they were trying to rescue Magan and the Phantoms showed up, she did a poor job of protecting them. And then she said that, you guys are all superheroes, like you saved lives, you saved the world. And she's like, I kind of feel like I'm out of my depth. So of course, Kelly's fear put her in a situation where everybody on the ship was mind controlled except her. It was up to her to save the day. And when she was trying to break through to everybody who was mind controlled, the zombies ended up saying to her, they're just like, oh, Kelly, there's nothing you can do because you're weak, and weak people can't do anything, and you're just like some psychiatrist and you have no power and you don't belong on the ship with all these people. So now Kelly's like crying because she's like, oh, I'm not special. She's like, I'm not important. Dreamer was up next. And then she had a dream where the Phantom had escaped downstairs. She ended up getting a dream. And she was trying to interpret the dream, but she couldn't interpret the dream. She ended up going to, like, her and Brainy went downstairs, and while her and Brainy were on their way downstairs, Brainy was giving her a speech about how she's not great at interpreting dream energy, so she should probably be careful and tread lightly because she doesn't want to cause any problems. But she's just like, no, I'm determined to prove that you're wrong and to prove that I am as good as my mom is. So she goes downstairs anyway. So when she goes downstairs, the Phantom's not there. There's a crack in the door downstairs. The door busts wide open, and then Brainy starts flying out of the door. She tries to save him. It didn't work. And then she was just like, oh, this is all my fault. She said if I was able to interpret my dream better, I could have gotten downstairs in enough time to save the ship and to save Brainy. So now she's freaking out because she's just like, yo, she failed as a superhero. And then finally, it actually takes place in present day, where, because like the time clock had showed, because the clock was counting down from 2 hours down to 0. And every single time somebody went into a fear dream, the clock showed that 10 minutes had gone by. But when we actually got to like actual present, and it was just like Jean and Brainy who were stuck in the actual present, not in a fear dream, only 2 minutes had went by at that point. And then Jean, he was just like, all right, we've gotten rid of the turbulence. And then he turned around, he's like, yeah, where the hell is everybody? Everybody was passed out on the keyboard, passed out on the floor. And then Brainy was the only one that snapped out of it. And then he's just like, yo, how come you and I weren't affected by the fear stuff? And then Brainy told Jean, he was just like, well, your Martian telepathy, it shields you from any sort of like breachment of your brain. But he said, for me, trust me, the fear is actually taking hold of me. He said, actually, my biggest fear is coming to life right now. And apparently he's afraid of balloons. He's afraid of like rubber with oxygen in it. He was just like, I see the balloons. He's like, I see the balloons. He's like, of course I'm afraid of the balloons, but he's like, but I've compartmentalized my fear. I put my fear in a box and moved it all to the side. So I'm able to function with what's normally going on, and I can just ignore the balloons, although they're like really freaking me out. And then at that point, they're just like, oh, the ship's coming apart, and the Phantom that's trapped downstairs, he's actually using his power to try to like break through to everybody. And then Brady was just like, well, I'll handle the ship. I'll fly the ship through the Phantom zone. You go downstairs and you stop the Phantom. And then John said he was just like, like I can't save everybody from their fears, but if I can fight the Phantom downstairs and distract him, then maybe that'll give the others enough strength they can to fight through. So Jean goes downstairs, he fights the Phantom, he uses all his Martian power to zap the Phantom, and he knocked the Phantom out cold. And then at that moment, everybody slowly started like breaking out of the whole situation. Alex ended up shooting the exit hatch and catapulted herself out into the Phantom zone. And I guess for her, she got over her fear, and then she just did the ultimate sacrifice to save everybody. Lena didn't really do anything. Lena just kept telling herself like it's not real, it's not real, it's not real until she believed it. Kelly actually put up a fight because she was just like, you're right. She was like, I'm not a superhero. She was like, like I have no superpower, but I'm the only person that's around. I'm the only person that can protect my friends, and damn it, I'm gonna protect my friends. So she went to go fight the Phantom. She picked up a metal sheet on the floor that looked exactly like the Guardian shield. So I was just like, because I saw the picture of Kelly dressed in the Guardian costume. She's going to be the female Guardian. She's going to take over from her brother. And she looks badass. She looks beautiful. She looks dope. I like the costume because it reminds me of the Young Justice Guardian costume. So I can't wait to see her suit up, and I like the braids that she's sporting too. So kudos to her. And I'm actually, like I said, I wasn't expecting that, but I'm happy that we're going to get that. So now this is Kelly's like one step further to, like to becoming a vigilante or becoming a hero. And then Dreamer didn't really do anything. Like in her fear dream, Brainy actually did fly out into space, and she actually did kill Brainy. So Dreamer didn't really get over her fear. It was almost like the whole thing just died because the Phantom got knocked out, so she just snapped out of it. And you could even see on her face that she was still like feeling the effects of everything that happened. But everybody's back now. They saved the day, and they're just like, like the Phantom's back, the Phantom's knocked out, everybody good, and they were just like, yo, let's go get Supergirl and get the F up out of here. So now it takes place to Supergirl. Supergirl, because remember, like in the last episode, she had broke that mirror, and then she got out of that fortress before it exploded, and Nixis Pitalik was trapped inside. But we all know she ain't gonna be trapped in there forever. So when Kara ran out, she got attacked by some Phantoms, and the Phantoms instilled fear in her. And then she was just like, oh, what I'm doing is pointless. There's no hope. My friends are gonna die. Everybody's gonna die. And then her dad came over, and he was just like, nah. He said, I felt that way when I first got here. He's like, I had no hope, but I thought about losing my wife, losing my planet, losing you, losing my family. And you showed up in the Phantom Zone, and you actually reinstilled faith and hope back in me. So, so it was funny because somebody finally gave Kara, like the hope speech for a change, which worked because it snapped Kara out of it. And then she was just like, you're right, Dad. She was just like, we're going to find our way out of here. And then at that moment, the sun came up because Lena had built like a sun bomb that she said when the sun bomb goes off, it'll recharge Supergirl and give her power. So the sun bomb went off. Kara and the dad ended up getting power. Supergirl was like, oh, that's my Earth family. They've come to rescue me. She picked up her dad and she flew on the ship. She lands on the ship. Like, she gives Alex a hug. Everybody's like, yay, we've saved Supergirl. And then he's like, all right, Brainy, take us home. And as the ship is exiting the Phantom Zone, we see Nixis Pitalik had hitched a ride, because we all knew that was going to happen. She hitched a ride, and she's now on her way to Earth, and she's going to probably team up with Lex Luthor at some point, and the two of them are going to be the big bads to close off the season of Supergirl. So this is cool. Kara is finally out of the Phantom Zone, thank goodness. And her dad is now on Earth with her. We saw, a few seasons ago when her mom was with her, how her mom kind of adjusted to having the superpowers. I saw one photo where they had her dad dress up in like glasses or whatever, looking like a nerd. So it'll be cool to see, the dynamic of the dad being with Kara and being on Earth and learning Earth customs. My prediction, like I said before, he's going to Argo. If he once somebody tells him that his wife is alive, he's on his way to Argo, and he's going to go be with his wife. Kara's going to go with him. She's going to live with both of her parents in Argo City in outer space, and that's how the Supergirl series is going to end. I said that's just my prediction. But I do want to see what's going to happen. Because like I said, because we got Kelly making the transition into Vigilante, which is obviously not going to sit well with Alex. So Alex and Kelly are going to bump heads over that. Dreamer's still not over the fact that she's not as good as her mom. And I don't know, Brainy might do something, and then we still got Magan and we still got Jean, so some stuff could happen as well. But that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm just happy Kara's out the Phantom Zone, and now we get to, like I said, we get to re-pick up the Lex Luthor thing, and we also get to include Nixis Pitalik in the deal as well. So thank you for tuning in. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think's going on with Supergirl so far. Are you enjoying the final season so far? Are you happy Kara's out of the Phantom Zone? And what do you think's going to happen with Lex Luthor, Nixis Pitalik, and the rest of the season as far as Big Bad is concerned, and what sort of threats are going to come to National City? Definitely hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Instagram, hit me up on YouTube so we can keep the conversation going. Like and or subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check me out on the Tacos and Geek podcast as always with Sean, Nadia, and Justin, and we will continue the superhero train until next week for DC TV. Thanks for tuning in, guys. So up and away for this episode of Supergirl, and I believe this is the mid-season finale, so Supergirl's probably going to go away for maybe a week or two, and then hopefully we'll be back soon. So until then, for the Girl of Steel, I'm out this bitch!